Welcome to Agenda Review. Troy, it's all yours.
Thank you. Page one, Amateur Radio Week proclamation. Second thing is we've got a couple of folks who've signed up to speak at public agenda. Page two, unfinished business. This is bringing back the charter ordinance and resolution naming city website as official newspaper. You'll recall back on April 2nd, this was deferred to the DABs. It has since been presented and have received feedback from all of the DABs. So this was coming back to you all for naming the city website as the official newspaper. New business, the first one is an amendment to the 2024 exempt salary ordinance. Fair Labor Standard Act has increased the minimum wage for exempt employees to $43,888. My understanding is it does not affect any existing employees, but there is one pay class, 1B32, that we're going to increase from $41,981 to the $43,888. Page three, item number 2, the drought response plan. So this is a code change that empowers the city manager to consider other factors. Currently, as it's written, there's sort of this automatic either increase or decrease to the level of the drought response plan. This amendment allows other factors to be considered in making the determination to either increase or decrease the level of the emergency response or of the drought response plan.
And Gary, we've been in phase 1 for how long?
Probably almost a year now.
And there's 4 phases, correct?
Yeah.
4, so, okay.
So rather than just being dependent upon the Cheney water level, this allows with aquifer levels and a whole slew of other factors, this empowers the city manager to be able to change those accordingly.
Correct. I might just add one more quick comment. The drought response plan has been in place since 2013. There's a lot that has happened in 11 years to help with drought resiliency, what we've done with conservation, especially on the city side, across everything that we do. And so there's so many more things now that we can consider. And sorry, Troy, I know this is just reiterating what you said, that we think that this flexibility makes a lot of sense and not just going entirely off of that one trigger for the Cheney level. So I'll talk about that a little bit more on Tuesday.
And then also, will you, and I'm certainly not trying to tell you how to do your presentation, but on the website there's really good information with water conservation tips and things that people can do about watering and all that. And then also the water conservation rebate program that
Correct.
we have. Can you highlight some of that Tuesday?
I will,
Okay,
because
thank you.
part of my message Tuesday, the requested action for the council is to amend the ordinance. Right now, the ordinance says that the manager will activate the next stages based on Cheney level only. This would allow the manager to be empowered to do so using all these other factors. The best thing we can do right now is to continue to encourage voluntary conservation and not get there instead of having to mandate that conservation. There's so many other things that come into play there, including enforcement and how that might happen. We don't even know. We haven't been to this point before. We want to try not to get there. So yes, I will talk about those things Tuesday also.
Thank you. Thank you.
Will the 4 phases of the drought be talked about as well?
This is
Just to kind
Councilmember
of.
Ballard. I have a couple questions about the ordinance, but I can try to get with you later. I just want to visit with you before Tuesday to make sure that I understand.
Sure, that would be fine. I don't mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
You muted yourself.
Oh, yeah. Please do. I'm happy to talk to you about anything, sure.
Will the 4 phases be talked about? Like we're in phase 1 right now, but will the other 3 just be explained?
I can do that, sure. Yeah, because it gets considerably more drastic, especially when you get out of stage 2. Stage 2, real quick, is watering 1 day a week, which most people should be doing anyway, and we're going to encourage that. Stage 3 eliminates all outdoor watering. And the fines increase considerably, so we don't want to get there. But if going to depend on the response to the request, the plea for voluntary conservation. We have seen, certainly on the city side, and I'll talk about this Tuesday, we have seen a decline in water use conservation on everything that we do. Residential usage has been steady compared to last year, but we'll find out here with this month and the heat where everybody's at, so.
And Gary and Dawn and I have been talking today because I've already started getting some emails from folks who have concerns about this. And one of the things that if we want to be proactive, again, Gary, it's your presentation, but they did ask specific questions of what is the city doing to help with water conservation? What are we doing in parks? What are we doing at our golf courses? Are we also limiting the amount of water? So that might be something just to highlight that we can serve as a role model. So just a thought.
I am highlighting that Tuesday, and I'm going to remind everybody that information is available on our website that talks, this first question we get, what are you doing? And that makes sense, right? We want to lead the way, and there's a lot of things we are doing, and we can show that we have saved water on our end. There's factors like folks that live where there's an HOA, and they're required to keep some level of green grass. Over the last year, we have reached out to and talked to HOA management companies about the need for flexibility, and they've recognized that too. So there's a lot of factors that come into play. Number one thing that can help is for conservation right now. And I don't mean to keep preaching. We've seen it. I've seen it with my own yard. You can water once a week, let's call it twice a week during the heat, and still meet those requirements. Absolutely can.
Yep.
Just one more thought, Gary, and I'm going to ask this on Tuesday, but is there any, and probably already way ahead of me, but also Jim in communications, I have mostly HOAs in my district, not as many neighborhood associations, and so I'm wondering if there's a way that we can communicate this to all the HOAs. I know that we keep a database of HOAs or neighborhood associations by district, and so it might even, it might even be helpful to send the information out, because the more ways people can get it, the better, because people may not be tuned into city council meetings, believe it or not. So
We have already, over the last year, through our engagement with, there's one HOA management company that manages over 200 HOAs across the community. We've already done what you mentioned, Councilmember Tuttle. I'll give you a quick example of something else. So everybody who has a backflow preventer, they're required to have a backflow preventer if they got irrigation system tied to using our water, right, for potential contamination issues. The notices that went out saying you got to have your backflow preventer inspected all talked about this very message and the need for conservation and where we're at. And so I think we've done a tremendous job getting the word out there. Whether everyone's paying attention to it, I don't know, but we've gotten the word out there. So, and we'll continue to do that.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, next item, page 3, item number 3, bringing back the janitorial service contracts. This has been continued for some time now, but the staff screening and selection committee interviewed 9 proposals. At the end of the day, awarded contracts to 5 different companies: Air Capital, Building Maintenance, Crowder's Cleaning Service, Harris Stream Clean, PMP Services, and Wilson Building Maintenance. Total contract amounts about $1.2 million. Item number 4, bringing this design build contract approval for the Alfred Angelou Rockwell Library expansion and renovations. So this RFP went out. There were 4 proposals. At the end of the day, the recommendations award to Hutton. It includes about $3.9 million in local funds, plus there are significant Wichita Public Library Foundation funds that are also being contributed. Item number 5, this is the recommendation for the CDBG and ESG allocations. About $475,000 in CDBG dollars and about $50,000 in ESG dollars. And so these are the recommendations that came out of that process. Page 4, item number 1, this is on non-consent, but this is the approval to the resolution to for the inventory for the scattered 61 units. This has appraised value of about 3.1 million, so these are not clustered, so, which is why this isn't necessarily going to follow the same process as the previous two cluster RFPs. These are truly scattered. They'll be listed at appraised value, and so that'll be handled through primarily our real estate offices, but we are looking at, for those properties that may not sell quickly, or that there's a broker that may be able to assist us in the disposition of that. So, but right now we anticipate that's about $3.1 million in appraised real estate. Same page, council member agenda, approving travel for Mayor Wood to attend the Farnborough Air Show. Once we get into consent, page 6, items 3 and 4, a couple of airport items, specifically some snow removal equipment, about $3.2 million, and then some relocation of some system facilities, about $65,000, and then somewhat of a shameless plug for the Midtopia's Elsewhere Fest. This is going to be a really, really exciting community event, June 21st to June 24th. Does include some street closures, but wanted to specifically call out the Elsewhere Fest event. And otherwise, that's all I have.
Any questions on the agenda? Any announcements for community?
The Wichita Open is in full swing. Technically, it's not in my district because it's in the Minnehaha Township, but if it were not for that, it would be in my district. But just a great economic boost. I've been a big fan of the Wichita Open for years, long before I was on council. But just not only is it bring economic activity to our community and, you know, attention as far as on the golf tournament, but also just a great place to go and network, and one more amenity that Wichita offers. So have fun at the Open, but stay hydrated with lots of water, because it's going to be really hot this weekend.
Yep. Also tomorrow, 9 a.m., Kansas Aviation Museum, the District 3, District 4, WPD Town Hall.
Yep.
Everybody's invited to that. Lots of great information. Want to encourage people to go there. And then also Juneteenth, all weekend, McAdams Park, tonight, 6 p.m., tomorrow, parade at 10 a.m., and then Gospel Sunday, 6 p.m. Just need an armband to get in. They're on sale at McAdams. I also want to introduce, we have a new intern in the office for the mayor. Charles or Charlie? Charlie. Charlie here goes to Capon. Here, introduce yourself. I was going to say talk about yourself.
My name is Charlie Higgins. I'm going to be a senior at Cape and Mount Carmel, and I am currently the intern for Mayor Will. I'm excited for this position, and I thank you for your support.
So we are excited to have him here, showing them the ropes. The mayor's gone, so we've got a lot of extra work for him to do until she gets back. But glad to have him here and welcome him to City Hall. Anything else?
This is Mayor Wu with Councilmember Glasscock. We're in Tulsa right now. So we wanted to say thank you very much for introducing Charlie as our intern, number one. But also reminding community of multiple different events that are happening throughout. I think I'm just going to echo what Councilmember Johnson just mentioned. Tomorrow is a very busy day, and there are multiple things, whether it's Juneteenth, whether it's Wichita Police Department's District 3 and 4 conversation about a real-time information center, which is the reason why one of the two reasons why we're in Tulsa right now. In a echo council model, not just the open, there's also the bit which is happening at State University the next week, as well as the softball tournament with unlimited. There's a lot for community to get engaged. Also, encouraging everyone in what is happening for district as well as throughout the city of Wichita.
All right. Then we also had a wonderful ribbon cutting this morning at the Carl G. Brewer Community Center. Groundbreaking, yes. I'm thinking about next year already. Yeah, groundbreaking. That was fun. The family was there. Appreciate our team, Troy, and everyone in SFS for that, and comms, getting all that together. We actually stuck the shovels in and got started. So I think that's it on everything else. So have a good day. Have a good weekend.